Hello everybody, welcome to the stream. We're going to be continuing doing our Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire Hardcore Nuzlocke. But real quick, why is the saturation of my eye? Oh, is that just me? My camera saturation. I'll try to fix that real quick. Alright, before we get started, I'm going to do a quick prayer real quick. So, Heavenly Father, thank you for another day and another opportunity to stream today and do what I love. Lord, help me tomorrow on my trip to Colleen, and help me and let everything go smoothly. And bless anybody who stops by my stream today, and I pray that they have a really great night tonight. Amen. All right, let's go ahead and get started and play the video.
There were a bunch of them, adding up to at least
and
a couple
so where we left off is we beat Winona, and so next is Tate and Liza, and so I need to form my team around Tate and Liza. So before I do that though, let me take items off of my Pokemon real quick. Okay, and then so yeah, now I want to form my team around Tate and Liza, which is just gonna be let me just make sure. I think it's just Solrock and Lunatone in Ruby and Sapphire, and they upgrade their team in Emerald, I'm pretty sure. But let me double check real quick. Yeah, Ruby Sapphire they just have to. So honestly, I don't really have to worry about it too much. Sharpedo and Marshtomp will probably be good enough. But let's deposit Pokemon I know for sure I'm not going to be using. Let's deposit Camerupt. And well, I'll keep you in the team because of you're a flyer, but deposit you. And we'll get out. Breloom's kind of risky. I really don't have that many good options, honestly. I can do Meryl, I guess. Yeah, we don't have any great options really.
Well, lots of tiny optimizations added up. He went for a lot more card spawns from previous runners, helping his.
I guess we could do Magnemite. I don't really see them being able to do much to Magnemite. Let me check their movesets real quick. Light Screen, Psychic, Hypnosis, Calm Mind. Oh, Flamethrower on the Solrock though. Not a good idea.
The leaderboard was pretty staggering. Liquid had a 129.
I guess we'll use Meryl and
nobody else had below a 135.
Honestly, that's probably fine. Well, I'll get him a Choke. I mean, just because it couldn't hurt, I guess, but we're gonna give you the experience share. And then we'll give you the Mystic Water, and then we'll give you the Soft Sand. Okay. Alright, and the level cap is what, level 42? Alright, I'm probably not gonna get that high because the next level cap of that is 43, and so I don't want to accidentally go over level. But for now, I'm not gonna worry about grinding. I'm just gonna continue the game. Yeah. How are we doing on balls? Okay, we got plenty of Pokeballs. We're good.
This man was unstoppable
on that front.
Most of his improvement was just from
I'm gonna fight all the trainers that I encounter though, but I'm not gonna like
and yet here he was with
focus too much on
second place. Yes, Liquid was
getting
full time and playing
like grinding or anything like that.
But he was also clearly the best runner by far. He'd taken over the game. This was his record now. And at this rate, with Liquid being this dominant, there needs to be some major change to the run for anybody to catch him. We've seen a lot of strategy improvements in the game already. Every year there's been new glitches, destruction strategies.
That was a really stupid idea. Because I have Mudshot, idiot.
Its greatest strategy yet. Level 7, the final level of the game.
The final level.
Time to head out of bounds. First off, what's the point of going?
Oh no, I already did
bounds?
use a
How does
PvP
it
on
save time?
Marshall Surf. Okay.
Well, the main advantage is it lets you drive across the map while it's not loaded in.
I don't think I have any regular potions, which is fine. I don't mind using some potions, but I want to make sure we don't have any stupid deaths.
Because most missions require you to go all the way across the map. You pick up waste on one side. And
Loading this early is kind of crazy. Oh my
the
gosh.
next question is, how do you get out of bounds? Well, in October 2018, Liquid Wi-Fi found this method. It looks crazy, but cars and
Wow, that really did not do as much as I hoped. Let's go for Screech
here.
here. Oh no, I'm like actually genuinely struggling right now.
And from there, he up the invisible part and made it over.
I might have to sacrifice Linen in here.
Using the car's back tires to contact the wall.
Oh my god.
It was over for level 7. DJ Lambton found an out-of-bounds setup for 7.
Yeah, we're gonna have to sacrifice Linen here.
Power plant. Vapo found a similar setup.
Oh, they actually didn't even do half. That's actually kind of crazy. If I don't hit myself here, I might not have to.
More than half of level
Dang it! Of course I do.
Combined, they saved more than a minute, but they weren't easy to pull off, especially given that
okay, no confusion, we're fine.
Of an hour and a half long.
Stupid.
I
literally just said before this battle, no stupid deaths, and then what do I have? A stupid death. Because of course I do. Dude, that sucks. Lino's been around the whole time, but I really only mainly had him on the team for 8 gems and
eventually a 126.
Ironically,
even though new tricks often open the door
pick up.
Competition, level 7
anyway,
out of bounds actually had the opposite effect.
I don't know what to get.
Liquid was the only runner with good
Binda.
consistency at them. So he was able to
For
better
just Pokemon I don't care about dying. That if they die, is who I'll bring in the party.
Now up to a whopping 4.5 minutes. His run of 126.23
got plenty of them, so
hit all 4 out of bounds in level 7, and that was enough to satisfy Liquid. He got all the big tricks and had an enormous lead over second place. What else could he ask for? I mean, maybe he'd come back if more out of bounds were discovered, like a second.
Bull crap! Actually, I don't know if this is a new. I don't think so. I'm just gonna keep going.
Liquid couldn't stop now.
Sure it's not.
Mid 2019, he helped find another set of out of bounds in level 7. This time, he was going to be out of bounds for nearly the entire level. It's a pretty involved route, but the most interesting part starts from 7-5. Liquid put the waste in.
Why do they both have fake out? That's so weird.
And hopped back in a sports car he had waiting out of bounds. He then
I don't see myself ever using that.
And the waste magically appeared there. How? Well, since the game can only have 5 traffic cars on once, it simply duplicates the traffic car with the waste as one of the 5. So, once it shows up by the school, it's perfectly cloned from before, waste and all. Liquid then simply got in the traffic car and completed the mission. Finally, in 7-6, he drove to the power plant out of bounds while being careful not to load in any part of the map. Then he did an e-brake boost to make it past the bridge, collected the waste, and drove back to the school out of bounds.
History's literally the definition of history repeats itself right there.
Now he could avoid the painfully difficult 7-7 out of bounds. The new route was.
Do you imagine if it happened 3 times in a row? That would have been crazy, dude.
Next, get back to the record grind. In June 2019, he rattled off 4 records like it was nothing, achieving the first ever 124.
Are these any good? Yeah, I guess.
Then in September, he came back and took another minute off. He'd implemented all the tricks into his run and grinded it down to a 123.37. He was still in first place by a mile. No other runners in sight.
Literally 1 mile.
Ridiculous. Liquid Wi-Fi
Alright,
clearly the king of hit and run. And with nothing
put you up front, and then we get kind of.
Once again moved on to other games.
And it is a Zoo, and that's Dupe's Claws.
That something amazing happened.
Still Dupe's Claws.
In years. An event that
still Dupe's Claws. There we go. Okay, I can't do anything to you. I'm just trying Ultra Ball, see what happens.
This is Bacon Man.
There you go.
He started running the game about a year ago, and he had a meteoric rise, quickly becoming the best runner not named Liquid Wi-Fi. But he always remained comfortably behind him, not a threat to his world record. Then suddenly in late 2019, he started improving again. His 126 became a 125, and then a 120.
Wow, that didn't one-shot, really?
January
Oh, I forgot you have
21.
levitate.
This was the first time that anybody had been within a minute
let's go
of
with
Liquid
levitate.
Wi-Fi. And interestingly, Bacon Man was already 43 seconds behind after level 2. Across the final 5 levels, he only lost 12 seconds to Liquid Wi-Fi. And in the final 2 levels, he actually gained time. Bacon Man was the first person to approach Liquid Wi-Fi's level. He wasn't quite there yet, but he was clearly on a collision course. Maybe this was it. A new
I don't know
era
why I
of
went for surf there, not
LETSGO
mud
was
shot, but whatever.
finally approaching. One with actual competition at the top level. Nope. New world record from Liquid. New world record from Liquid. New world record from Liquid.
Yes, we did it!
New world record from Liquid. New world record from Liquid. Hey, some new strategies in level 7. New world record from Liquid. New world record from Liquid. New world record from Liquid. This just kept going. He was still the king, squashing any threat from other runners. And by the end of the year, the record was down to an unthinkable 120-20. He was making a mockery of the leaderboard. This was 36 consecutive world records from Liquid Wi-Fi. And the record had become very optimized. He was running out of time to save.
Oh, we got a rival fight. Yeah, we're gonna probably want to get Swampert.
Liquid Wi-Fi still wanted to get
Or the
one
rival
more
fight.
record, the ultimate
Maybe.
time in the Simpsons hit and run. We're talking about the sub 120.
Oh, of course my bag's full. And I can't get
All
to
of
the mark.
Liquid's world records, all of his domination, it all led up to this. This would be his crowning achievement. But it was not going to be easy. He needed to find a way to save 21 seconds.
And of course I have 2 revives, so I can't even toss them because toss the escape room. I'm not ever gonna use it.
Level 1 had some recent new strategies, like using the Plow King in 1-3 and the Bush strat in the tutorial. There was also a really cool new one in 3-7. By pushing the limo to a precise spot, then calling in Mr. Plow, the 2 cars share the same collision area, and the limo is instantly destroyed. These time saves could really help him. Liquid's goal would be to build some kind of a lead after level 2, then maintain it as best he could until the end. And maybe that would be good enough for sub 120. In early 2021, Liquid embarked on his journey. On March 5th, he got a run with the start he was looking for, a 16-second
Nice,
lead
we got a
after
swap
level
over. Let's
2.
go.
He maintained his lead through level 3, and then he entered level 4. 4-7 is one of the most important missions in the run.
Marshall should be able to take care of everything except for Septile, so we're just gonna
each one has its own unique
get
strategy. If you miss a quick kill,
Swallow up,
you
I
could
guess.
lose big time and potentially even lose the run. Liquid entered the Cola Trucks mission with an 18-second lead, and it went beautifully. He nailed all 3 quick kills and took a 23-second lead into level 5. Things were looking good. But now he had another crucial mission coming up, the armored truck. On this golden opportunity, he had to get the strat.
Yes, this is definitely spliced. You caught me. 100%. Alright, that'll work.
He nailed it again. Liquid now had a 27-second lead. This was sub 120 pace with 2 levels to go. Level 6 had a clean start, but then in 6-6, mistakes began to creep in.
That is not fast as fuck. Oops. Okay, well that's gonna affect the cycle. Very nice. I would like to stop losing time, please.
His lead fell to 14 seconds. This still had sub 120 potential, but now there was no margin for error. And with the pressure fully on, he had to hit all of level 7's out of bounds. 7-2 went well, as did 7-4. This was alive. Liquid was on sub 120 pace. 3 more missions. Whatever he did now, just don't blow up the waist.
Sub 120 is dead.
This was such a tricky spot. You have to get enough speed to get the front of the car to bounce up, but
Taking a level 39 is probably good enough.
Explodes, which is exactly what happened. It
I just wanna play it safe.
Sub 120. The run finished as a 120.05. The grind continued for weeks. Liquid kept getting runs to level 7, but he messed up an out of bounds mission every time. It's so tough when the hardest part of the speedrun is right at the end. Liquid pushed onwards, and a few weeks later, he got another shot. This one again had a good start, despite some minor slowdowns. The cola trucks went well, and now for perhaps the most important mission in the run, the armored truck.
Alright.
That should work.
A car tried to prevent it, but Liquid still managed to trap the truck. He had a 3-second lead with
Okay,
time
so
to save in level 7.
you probably shouldn't lead with
This had sub 120 potential. First step, get 7-2 out of bounds.
probably won't lead with
Please go. Please make it.
Septile.
Okay, that's fine.
It was sketchy, but it worked. He also got 7-4 out of bounds, but his lead was only 4 seconds. Not enough for sub 120. But he had time to save in 7-5. If he could avoid blowing up the waste again.
Oh, it's only still Grovile. Okay, well, I might have overgrinded a little bit.
Get up. Get up.
He did it. Liquid pulled further ahead, closed out the last 2 missions.
Yeah, I overgrinded a little bit. I thought it would be Septile, to be honest, but
it was pure.
I think it is an ORAS,
The man
but
who devoted his past 4 years to this game. This was the run he'd been dreaming of. All 38 world records had built up to this, and Liquid Wi-Fi had finally made it. He'd done everything he'd wanted with all story missions, and this was the end of the road. For the first time in many years, Liquid stopped playing the category. He moved on to other ones, with his sub 120 as his crowning achievement. Meanwhile, Liquid's top competitors were still
do I?
Bacon Man was the closest with a low 121, and nobody else had below a 123.
What was I checking? Oh yeah, PepePls. Yeah, we're good.
So there wasn't much hope of beating Liquid's 119. But maybe, given enough time, somebody could rise up to compete. Well, let's jump a year later. Barely anything had changed. Bacon Man had lowered his time by 12 seconds, and that was about it. No world record threats in sight. And it was now the longest standing world record in modern hit and run history. Liquid was
literally everyone in their monk 100%.
Others simply couldn't do what he could. And if he wasn't running the category, the world record was staying put. By mid-2022, he hadn't played all story missions in a year and a half. Unprecedented for him. It had been part of his identity for years, and now he'd given it up. Liquid took a step back and evaluated what he wanted to do. He already had the 119, the ultimate hit and run world record, and yet he missed playing it. Liquid evaluated his options. He looked at his world record of 119 and said, "Alright, fine. 1 more minute." In Liquid's mind, the 119 was about the achievement, while a 118 would be about the optimization. He'd gotten even better over the last year and a half, and felt there was another minute he could squeeze out of the run. But where? Well, let's examine his 119. There were only a couple of big time losses. In 2.7, he got
this is a new encounter, isn't it?
10 seconds. And in 5.6, he wasted a bunch of time by forgetting which points
city
to collect. But with cleaner execution, there were small chunks of time he could save all over. He missed items in level 3, certain destruction missions could be a bit faster, his out of bounds were a bit slow. When adding this all up across the run, it came out to over a minute of time save. 118 was technically viable, but this was going to take a monumental effort. His 119
oh right, we gotta do the
incredible run. He'd have to duplicate it
thing first.
and capitalize on
Really
all the
vague.
time save. This was the sort of thing he'd chip away at over time, rather than get all in
I feel like I
one
always
shot.
forget Vampire.
Or maybe I'm a big dummy.
And I don't, but it feels like that. Sometimes at least. Alright, well, we can get a new encounter in here.
God, what is this pace? Oh my god.
I'm realizing now I probably should not lead with my joke. You cannot hit those types like at all.
God, okay. Alright. focus. Gotta focus up. Just gotta focus up.
How about a 48-second lead into level 7? Liquid could not believe what was happening. I mean, he'd gotten everything. All the time save he was hoping for. If he could now play a clean level 7, he'd get a 118 right here, right now. This was the highest pressure level 7 of his life. The first mission is in bounds, and it went just fine. Next up, the 7-2 E-Break boost. He had to make it out of bounds here.
No! Interna.
He hit the corner of the Krusty Burger roof, and it was enough to kill 118. He had to go out of bounds in 7-3 instead, costing him serious time. Liquid went on to hit the rest of the out of bounds and got a small world record, 119.45.
You're an idiot.
But most importantly, he got a small taste of what could be. If he had hit the 7-2 out of bounds, this run very well could have been the 118. Perhaps getting it all in one shot was just too much to ask for. Instead, he was going to have to grind this out the traditional way. On September 15th, he had a run even with the record after level 4. A great spot to be in. But in level 5, the time losses began. He had a slow 5-4, and in 5-5, a car got in the way of the truck so it couldn't turn on the expressway. Level 7 mostly went well, but he initially messed up the 7-5 out of bounds. It ended as a world record by 10 seconds, 119.35. Weeks later, he had another solid start. A gold split in level 3 pushed him even with the record, and he was able to capitalize.
Is only Duskull available here?
7-2
I think it's fine actually, because I think the outside area still catches this area.
Another small world record, but Liquid was struggling to get a clean level 7. On December 20th, he made it there again. This time he was faster through level 4, but got unlucky in level 5. Level 7 started beautifully, and then...
I thought I got stuck on the wall.
Another failed out of bounds, and another small world record. Liquid just couldn't get the level 7 he needed. Something always went wrong. But fortunately for him, around the end of the year, another wave of new strategies were developed. The entirety of level 4 was rerouted, buying the inmate outfit sooner and changing which coins you pick up. And a runner named Bedge found a time save in 4-3 to collect the last ketchup packet quicker. But the biggest new strategy came in the final mission of the game, 7-7 Jump Zone, found by an annoying hamster. By parking your car in a precise spot, then exiting and re-entering it, the car gains Jump Zone properties. This gives it unlimited top speeds and bouncy physics. It allows you to quickly climb the power plant wall after collecting the waste, then drive out of bounds to the end, a 20 to 25 second time save. So now Liquid had a bit more time to work with, but if he couldn't get a clean level 7, it didn't matter. On January 8th, he got another record of 119.19. It had a good level 7, but a slower levels 3 and 5. He needed that level 7 on a faster pace. And on January 30th, he'd get that faster pace. Liquid had a 16-second lead. He had another shot. If he could get a clean level 7 now, this was 118. And things were looking good. He got 7-2, he got 7-4, he got 7-5.
Things about to get real on some next, I'll play this song.
One more green split, and Liquid would have a 118. But Liquid didn't get a green split in 7-7.
Got gold.
He got a gold split.
All day.
His fastest 7-7 ever.
Yes! Oh my god! Finally! Let's go!
After 2 years, Liquid had found another minute to squeeze out of Simpson's hit and run, above and beyond what anyone thought was possible. His hours of being stuck in level 1, his repeated fails in level 7, it all finally paid off. Liquid Wi-Fi had the 118, make it more than 40 world records in a row, and his leaderboard dominance had only grown. Now, he could celebrate and move on to the game's other categories once again, with the comfort that he was truly done with all story missions. But his comfort didn't last long, because while he was still celebrating, Just hours after his 118, something happened. Something to make Liquid just a little unsure of himself. Later that same day as Liquid's 118, a player named Homer of Steel became the second ever person to get a sub 120. Homer of Steel played a lot of hit and run growing up. He always loved it and poured countless hours into the game. But in 2021, he found Liquid Wi-Fi's Twitch stream and became obsessed with learning the speedrun. It was a story like so many who start speedrunning. He found a speedrun of a childhood game and wanted to see if he could do it too. But Liquid's dominance of the leaderboard was intimidating. 6 years on top, 45 consecutive records? How could anybody ever catch up? But Homer of Steel kept lowering his time, and as he got closer, Liquid's times began to seem a bit more realistic. On January 30th, he took his PB straight from a high 121 to a 119.53. He was 23 seconds behind the record after level 2, and then lost another 30 seconds in level 7. But in levels 3 through 6, more than half of the run, Homer of Steel only lost 4 seconds to Liquid. If he could improve at the level 7 out of bounds, maybe he could finally be the person to challenge Liquid for the world record. It took a huge grind for Homer of Steel to get the sub 120, and he took a break for a few months after this. But in May, he came back, determined to try and close the minute gap between himself and Liquid. Everything was in position for him to make a run at the world record. He actually had a decent chance at pulling this off. But instead, right after he began playing, a new strategy was found that changed everything. This is the 5-3 Baby Van. You need to hit it 10 times to collect 10 objects, similar to several
Hey, let's go, Machamp. Alright, now that we got Machamp, I'm gonna like mainly be using Speeder right now.
It has a 50-50 chance of either driving normally or driving all over the place in a crazy pattern. With normal driving, you can trap the car in the corner and get a quick kill. But with tilted driving, this is nearly impossible, so you had to chase it down and hit it 10 times normally. This often cost a full half minute. For years, it was just a random coin flip. You either got lucky, or your run was pretty much over. But in June 2023, Homer of Steel modified a new strategy originally developed by a runner named Vapo. See, the Baby Van mission won't start unless
this technically counts as an encounter here. So I'm gonna count it as a static encounter for this. Well, for my encounter for this area, I guess.
By then waiting to call in the car built for Homer until you're right next to the Baby Van.
You didn't want to be caught, I guess.
The mission will start, and you can immediately ram the Baby Van before it gets away. This
Wait, do I need to heal?
Huge for the speed run.
Alright, but we got the Master Ball, yay. You'll never guess what Pokemon we're gonna use that on.
Always get the quick kill. No more having to throw away half of your runs. Easily one of the biggest discoveries in hit and run history.
Wait, why are you up for? Oh, because I had to.
Activity like the game had never seen before. On June 24th, Homer of Steel had a brilliant pace midway through the game. All the big missions had gone well, including the 3 cola trucks in 4-7. The new Baby Van strat worked perfectly, and he capitalized on a big time save in 5-7. After a good level 6, he was actually ahead of the world record. It was about to happen so soon. If he could hold it together for one more level, he was about to dethrone Liquid Wi-Fi. And then...
You missed the cutscene.
He missed a cutscene skip. We haven't seen this happen in several years. It's such an easy trick compared to the rest of the run, but under immense pressure, it's still possible to miss it. He lost 45 seconds, and then proceeded to play an excellent level 7, finishing with a 119.19. The missed cutscene skip ended up making all the difference. He was just one relatively easy trick from taking down Liquid. But Homer of Steel wasn't the only player trying. Later this same week as his run, 2 more players achieved sub 120s of their own.
190, there we go.
12 Kelvin and Bacon Man, veteran runners who had long been just a bit behind.
Wow, I wasn't expecting that to be a one-shot.
Got runs clocking in at 119.56 and 119.
Oh, that on the other hand, I definitely was expecting to be a one-shot.
The new Baby Van strat had revolutionized the run, and coincided with runners making a big push to lower their PBs. The end result? Now 3 runners had joined Liquid in the sub 120 club. For his part, Liquid was thrilled by all the activity. It had gotten lonely at the top after all these years, and he was excited to see multiple new record contenders. He also made the decision to hold off on playing more all-story missions until somebody beat his world record. It'd be more fun for him to play from behind. So, now it was inevitable that his world record streak was about to come to an end, and it was a race to see who would pull it off first. On July 1st, Kelvin swooped into second place with a 119.10.
Oh my god. What? What? Holy sh...
This run fell 20 seconds behind the record after level 3, but from there he matched it all the way to the end. A few days later, Homer of Steel fired back with a 6-second PB of his own. At this point, these guys were saving substantial time in level 7 compared to Liquid's world record. Both Kelvin and Homer of Steel have been grinding it as an IL to try and get a sub 8, so their execution at each out of bounds got really fast. Later in August, Homer of Steel had a run that pulled ahead in level 3 thanks to a very fast destruction mission. However, he had some slowdowns in level 5, including missing the new Baby Van strat. With 1 level to go, he was 3 seconds behind the world record, but he knew he could beat Liquid's level 7. He had to learn from his mistakes in past runs and apply all his skills right now. Homer of Steel's final time? 1:18:48, a new world record by 3 seconds. This was the first time since May 2017 that Liquid wasn't the record holder. Over that period, he'd taken the time down by 14 minutes, more than 6 years of constant domination. But all reigns come to an end eventually, and Homer of Steel's achievement was lauded by the community. It was surreal to see a new name on top of the leaderboard. So, what was Liquid's response? Was he interested in playing? Well, everything quieted down for a few months. Nobody was sure if Liquid was planning to come back, or if he was just done with the category. Homer of Steel's record was great, but it did have room for improvement, especially on the Baby Van. And under the pressure of world record pace, he didn't play level 7 as aggressively as he could have either. But even though there was some time save, the community stayed quiet. Nobody wanted to make a move. Finally, in late 2023, activity picked up again, a massive push for the world record. And what we've had over the last year of hit and run speedrunning is a battle like we've never seen in the game's history. Three contenders began playing for the world record, each one formidable in their own way. The first contender was the current record holder, Homer of Steel. Even though he held the record, he wanted to hang on to it and begin his own long-lasting reign. The second contender was Liquid Wi-Fi. He knew the record left time on the table and felt that with his experience, he'd be the one to save it. The third contender was Kelvin. He'd contended for the record right alongside Homer of Steel, and although he was narrowly beaten,
wait, there's no cave in this version?
Felt he had what it took to get it. That's three contenders: the record holder, the past champion, and the up and
I guess not. I thought there was.
It seemed like Liquid and Homer of Steel were the two favorites, given that they'd actually held the record before. But as the runs played out, Kelvin was looking pretty good. On December 30th, Kelvin had a decent run going, but had a very slow first Cola truck destruction. Luckily, he could save time over the record's Baby Van, and he capitalized on it. His pace was very close with the record, and by the time he reached level 7, he was just a few seconds behind. If he could play a bit more aggressively than the record here, he could save some time and take the top spot. Level 7 began, and Kelvin was hitting everything. Good driving, good out-of-bounds setups. He was in position to pull ahead of the record. And then...
Man, I was like a pixel off.
He hit an invisible wall while out of bounds. The waist blew up, and it was all over. Just one tiny mistake in level 7 can completely destroy your run. But Kelvin was still feeling it. A short while later, he managed a nearly identical pace, about 10 seconds behind the world record going into level 7. Once again, with fast execution,
Oh, what? That didn't one shot? I call bullcrap, bro. It's an oddish. Seriously? I would understand gloom, but not oddish, bro.
No problem. Now, avoid hitting the invisible wall again. He got that too. So far, so good. A few more missions to go. Next up was 7-4 out of bounds.
That's good.
He made it. The pressure was mounting. Then 7-5 out of bounds.
That sucks.
He blew up the waist again. Too much speed while backing up. World record was dead, but maybe he could still get a small personal best, as long as he didn't blow up the waist again.
That's...
This was becoming a pattern for Kelvin. He was getting runs to level 7 just like any record contender, but time and time again, something went wrong to kill it. It's tough when the game's hardest level is right at the end, but it's what you have to overcome if you want the record. On January 22nd, Kelvin found himself in a familiar spot. A few seconds behind the record, one level to go. And this time, it all went well. He didn't blow up the waist, he didn't miss any out of bounds, he played a clean level 7. But he still missed the record. Kelvin just wasn't quite aggressive enough through the level. He just wanted to get through it and take a new personal best. So he did. Now, all three top contenders had a 118, and they were all trying to break through. A day later, it was Liquid Wi-Fi's turn for a chance at the record. He exited level 4 with a 15-second deficit, but as we know, there's time to save over the record's level 5. Liquid capitalized on it, nailing the baby van strat, the armored truck strat, and everything else. Now, instead of being behind, he had a 20-second lead over the record.
Well, this has potential.
Once again, this was going to come down to level 7. First up, 7-2. A good start. Liquid now had a 30-second lead. Next up, 7-4.
Oh, I only just cleared the barrier.
It worked. Liquid was still 30 seconds ahead of the record. Now, he had to get 7-5.
Alright, so, Psychic. Solrock does have Solar Beam, so I can't.
Next time it's okay.
That hurt. His lead was back down to 20 seconds. Still in there, as long as he could get 7-6.
Probably dead.
Ouch. Liquid had to get a backup, and he lost another 17
I should have given the experience share to Meryl.
But this still left him with a small lead. And with a clean 7-7, it was just enough to take the world record back from Homer of Steel. 118.41. Liquid was back on top, where he'd been for so many years. Homer of Steel had briefly taken it, and Kelvin put up a good fight too. But at the end of the day, Liquid was still too good to be stopped.
Alright, I forgot Pro revolves in like 2 levels.
So, how did our other competitors respond? Well, Homer of Steel kept going. He was determined to not be a one and done, to prove that he belonged on top of the leaderboard. But beating Liquid Wi-Fi was always a tall order. I mean, this was the same guy who'd set 45 records in a row. Sure, Homer of Steel beat him once, but now he was back in second place. The big question was, did he have what it took to beat him?
Did he?
Well, here's a good benchmark. Liquid's record had a 110 flat split going into level 7. If Homer of Steel could be close to that, he could save time over the level 7 mistakes and beat the world record. So somewhere in the 110s was a good time to shoot for. And on the very next day after Liquid's record, Homer of Steel had a run make it past level 6. His split was 109.12.
Okay.
It was a dream run. Homer of Steel had gotten everything. The destruction missions, all the different tricks, everything. Virtually no mistakes. This was somehow on pace for a 117. Chat was losing their minds. Even Kelvin was there, and he couldn't believe what he was watching. Surely, something was gonna go wrong to kill this. But he began hitting all the out of bounds. He kept his pace. Just
Of course
please
I flinched.
don't blow up the waist.
Bro.
What? Please. What? Please. Oh no. I hate this game. I want to cry. I can't do this trick.
That's 8 times he blew up the waist. He just couldn't do it. And the best pace the game had ever seen was gone. The 117 dream was dead. But in speedrunning, you can't dwell on your mistakes. You have to pick yourself up and keep trying. That's exactly what Homer of Steel did. And a few days later, he had another good run. He had a lead over the record going into level 5, then hit the baby van strat. Things were looking good. But then, a complete debacle happened in 5-5.
Not a
He managed to get
debacle.
his car stuck on a slant midway into the mission. The car wasn't budging, and he wasn't able to get back inside. So to wedge it free, he had to go
I did
get
not wanna
another
stay in.
car and repeatedly hit it to try and dislodge it. It eventually worked, and he was able to proceed with the mission, but not before losing a full 30 seconds. This was a bizarre time loss, but here's the crazy part. Homer of Steel made it to level 7, hit all the out of bounds, and still set a massive new world record, 118.11, beating Liquid by half a minute. If he hadn't had the 5-5 time loss, this run would have been well into the 117s. Homer of Steel had turned into a monster. His competitors weren't able to get paces like this. He'd pulled away from both of them. And now, with its possibility being firmly established, Homer of Steel set his eyes on a new goal. He wanted the first 117 in hit and run history. The blueprint was simple. Just duplicate the last record, but with a cleaner 5-5. And 6 days later, that's exactly what Homer of Steel did. He had a small lead into level 5, got the big time save in 5-5, and maintained from there to the end. 117.41, the first 117 ever, and a full minute ahead of second place. Homer of Steel hadn't just won the world record battle, he'd completely run away with it. These were times that his competitors weren't even approaching. How had he gotten so good? Well, it was a lot of little things adding up. He was just a little bit faster at executing the hard tricks. His driving was just a little bit cleaner. Perhaps he saved 1 second on average per mission. Well, across 50 missions, that starts to add up. And that's why he was able to save so much more time. Even though Liquid had several years of head start, Homer of Steel had come along and surpassed him. So now, things were settled. And instead of playing all story missions, the top competitors moved to play the game's other categories, like 100%, where Liquid Wi-Fi had been able to hold off Homer of Steel. All story missions had little activity. Liquid just seemed unable to catch the 117. But once again, there's someone we're forgetting about. Kelvin had still never gotten the world record, and it wasn't for lack of trying. He'd had more than his share of runs into level 7, but they hadn't panned out, and now that the record was down to a 117, he remained in a fairly distant third place. But maybe now that his two competitors were distracted, this was his chance to make a move. On June 16th, Kelvin got a 118.38, just beating out Liquid for second place. And the very next day, he got on another run. Kelvin was deadlocked with the record into level 3. He lost some time in 3-5 when Snake's car jumped the bridge before dropping the last item, making him have to backtrack. He also lost a bit on the second cola truck in 4-7. Kelvin was now half a minute behind the record. But from there, he kept it remarkably close. He got the baby van, the armored truck, Skinner's car destruction, all just like the record. Finally, he made it to level 7, and he nailed all the out of bounds, with even quicker setups than the world record. The run finished as a 118.07.
I'm insane. What?
The only difference between his run and Homer of Steel's were unforced errors in levels 3 and 4. But beyond that, his execution was just as fast. Even faster in level 7. After several months of trying, Kelvin was once again on a collision course with the record. One more improvement without the big mistakes, and he would finally reach the top of the mountain. But it was all a mirage, because Homer of Steel saw what was happening, and he wanted to stop it. So he began doing attempts again, and a few days later, he did this. Homer of Steel had somehow squeezed another minute out of the run. Virtually the only slowdown was missing the Curator destruction in 5-7. He got a quick backup and lost 10 seconds. Other than that, it's a familiar story. He simply nailed everything, hitting trick after trick throughout the game. He now had a 116 when no one else in the world had a 117. What Homer of Steel has done to the hit and run speedrun is nothing short of remarkable. Compared to where the run was just a year ago, he's elevated nearly everything. He's brought the record down by 2 full minutes with essentially nothing new. He's just pulling time out of thin air, finding tiny optimizations to play better and better. This is well illustrated through the sum of best gap. A player's sum of best is adding up all their gold splits, their 50 fastest individual splits. During the 118 era, the gap between the record and his sum of best segments was 4 minutes. But now, Homer of Steel has shaved a full minute off that gap. His execution in runs has just gotten that good. Can other runners catch up to him? Well, in the months since, both Liquid Wi-Fi and Kelvin have set new personal bests. But they both remain more than a minute off the record. They're more competitive with Homer of Steel in categories like 100%, but he seems to have a stranglehold on all story missions. That being said, we've seen this before in The Simpsons Hit and Run. Someone seems so far ahead, surely there's no way anyone will catch up. But it never lasts forever. Someday, someone will dethrone Homer of Steel. And as it so often does, history will repeat itself. Thanks for watching. For a behind-the-scenes look at how I made this video and storylines that I couldn't include, join You might be familiar with the Minus World. It's the most famous glitch in gaming history. In the original Super Mario Bros., if you clip into the wall,
I'm sorry, but no, it's not.
You can enter a warp pipe before it's properly loaded in. Instead of taking you to World 4 like normal, you're taken to World -1. It's an underwater stage that resembles level 7-2 from the main game. Now, the Minus World itself isn't the most exciting level, just your standard water stage, and when you get to the end, you're sent right back to the start. It loops forever, with no actual end. The Minus World appears in nearly all re-releases of Super Mario Bros. And is identical in most of them. But there's one huge exception. In 1986, a year after the game's release, it was ported to Nintendo's new add-on in Japan, the Famicom Disk System. And while the Minus World is present, it is totally different. There's not just -1, but also -2 and -3, glitched out levels that actually have ends. And in addition to being way cooler, it makes for an amazing speedrun. Players have competed with each other to get to the end of -3 as quickly as possible. They've found some brilliant strategies to do so, and it's led to one of the most optimized speedruns of all time. Let's take a look at how we got there. This is the crazy history of Minus World ending speedruns.
Alright, I'm tired of grinding. Let's just go ahead and take on the gym. And if I die, I die.
And now a word from this video's sponsor, Rocket Money. Earlier this year, I signed up for a streaming service just to watch one show. I meant to cancel it right away, but I forgot. And months later, I realized I'd been throwing money away. I bet that's happened to you before too. And if so, you should be using Rocket Money. Rocket Money is the personal finance app that lets you cancel subscriptions, lower bills, and manage your money better. I like Rocket Money for canceling unwanted subscriptions. They safely and securely identify recurring charges and cancel subscriptions. You just tap a couple buttons and Rocket Money takes care of it. They can also negotiate bills on your behalf and analyze your spending habits to create a custom budget. Look, I think money is great, and you can save up to $740 per year if you use the app's premium features. Join the over 5 million members using Rocket Money today. Go to rocketmoney.com/summoningsalt or click the link in the description to get started for free. That's rocketmoney.com/summoningsalt to get started for free. Thanks again to Rocket Money for sponsoring this video. Okay, first question to get out of the way. Does this really count as a speedrun? Are you actually beating the game?
Alright, well that was easy.
You're not beating
that was easy.
and rescuing the princess. But if you reach the end of -3, the game does act as though you've beaten it. You're sent back to the title screen, and once there, you can play second quest and select a world with the B button. These are both features that are only unlocked once you beat the game. So, as to whether you're really beating the game, that's up to you to decide. And if you'd like to argue about it in the comments section below, please feel free. But either way, it makes for a sick speedrun. It may seem trivial, but the saga that's about to unfold is anything but. And the origins of the category come from the year 2013, when a game collector named Oatax purchased a Famicom disk system. He had seen tool-assisted speedruns of Minus World Ending from players named Phil and HAPPIES, and decided it would be fun to try it in real time. So on September 9th,
Last gym is a water gym, so we're gonna wanna
performed the first ever speedrun of Minus World Ending, clocking in at
get over
2
Loom.
minutes
And maybe Rosalia.
There are only 5 levels in this speedrun. 1-1, 1-2, -1, -2, and finally -3. So you have 5 levels to optimize as much as you possibly can. Here's how Oatax went about doing that. In 1-1, he ran ahead and picked up a mushroom. This was so he could do the Minus World clip later, which is only
let me check out Wallace's
possible with
team.
Mario. He quickly finished the level and entered 1-2, where he picked up a fire flower. This let him clear enemies out of his way, so he could make it through the stage while barely hesitating.
Got water
Finally,
types.
It was time to go to the Minus World. He
Water
came
and
to a stop
ice
on top of the pipe,
and
then carefully crouch jumped into the corner. For
You do have to worry
details on
about,
why this works and why the Minus World even exists,
the ice type.
check out this video from Cosmic. But basically, Mario lands on a specific part of this block where he can stand. After
I think
that,
we're gonna swap out Machamp, and then we're
to the
gonna
right,
also probably should get Magnemite maybe.
Oatax did that, killed the Piranha Plant, and then was off to the Minus World.
I think we're gonna swap out Sharpedo here.
Level -1 is pretty strange. It's like level 1-3.
Hold on, before I do that
except
though, let me
underwater with enemies from a castle
Mystic Water off.
complete with Princess Toadstool and Bowser. It makes for a convoluted looking stage, but the speedrun is pretty straightforward here. Oatax simply dodged enemies and swam to the end, reaching the underwater flagpole. Next up is -2, a stage identical to 7-3 from the main game. Oatax had to run across the bridges while being careful to avoid flying Cheeps and Koopas. Sometimes Cheeps can get in the way, but Oatax handled it beautifully and beat the level while barely hesitating. And now for level -3. This one is really weird. It's an underground version of the 4-4 castle level with underwater enemies like bloopers. Now normally, 4-4 is a maze where you have to take the correct path. If you take one of the top paths, you loop back to the start. But in -3, that pattern isn't active, and the top paths instead lead to a wall.
We can get an encounter here.
So OATAX
Rocks
had to
also.
navigate his way to the bottom, then he was home free to run to the end and touch the axe. That's all it took. 5 levels and OATAX was done in 2 minutes and 45 seconds. For the first world record of a category, this was already looking pretty optimized. He barely slowed down anywhere, never got hit by anything, and that's why it still stands as the record today. Just kidding. He beat this run literally the very next day. On September 10th, OATAX improved his record by 3 seconds, taking it from a 245 to a 2.
Alright, counter here is a Zubat. I'll take it, actually. It's a good encounter, I think.
He grabbed the power-ups just the same, but at the end of 1-2, he came to a stop
Nice.
and did the minus.
Robot actually could be good for the Elite Four. I don't know. We'll think about it. We'll think about it.
To save him 5 frame rolls. What's a frame roll? Well, last year, a YouTuber named Beryllium or something
I meant to
like
name
that
it Thing,
tried to
but
explain it, but
that
he
works, I
used
guess.
bus skip, which is obviously cheating. So, here's a proper explanation from the reigning record holder. Super Mario Bros. Has something called the frame roll system. The game can only send you to the next level every 21 frames, or every 0.35 seconds. This amount of time is known as a frame roll. So in each level, you can only gain or lose time in frame rolls, increments of 0.35 seconds. Imagine a bus at the end of every level that leaves every 0.35 seconds. If you miss one, you'll have to wait for the next one. So that means if you want to save time in a level, you have to be fast enough to catch the next bus, or you won't gain anything. OATAX did the minus world clip fast enough that he gained an entire 5 frame rolls over his previous run. -1 and -2 were completely identical to the record, so entering -3, he had exactly a 1.75 second lead. But in -3, the frame roll system doesn't apply, since timing ends immediately upon touching the axe. So every frame saved or lost counts in this level. And OATAX had a brilliant new strategy. Instead of navigating through the maze, he just jumped up top and ran on the ceiling. All the way
that was hilarious. We're just like, nah, I don't want to do this.
That was 2 records in 2 days for OATAX. For the pioneer of real-time minus world ending speedruns, he'd done an excellent job. No mistakes, some clever strategies, and fantastic execution.
I don't know why I'm still getting a lot of the counters.
A time of 2 minutes and 42 seconds. How much more could you really save across just 5 levels? Well, more than you might think. Just a month later, OATAX's run was beaten by an entire 5 seconds.
Okay,
His name was
let me check out Maxi.
Later, he'd go on to take the any
I think
from Andrew G. But
he has, I know he's Mightyena and Camrupt.
He had some ideas on how to improve the minus world record. The first idea was quite simple. There was
Mightyena, Crobat, and Camrupt. Okay, so I can take on Mightyena with Swampert. Crobat, it's kind of risque.
Seradoc's second idea came from Happy Lee's TAS of the category. A strange trick.
Crobat has
-1. It looks like this.
Crobat has Confused Ray, which is kind of scary.
To end the level in Super Mario Bros., Mario first has to touch a flag.
Is there anything?
And then touch an invisible block in the castle.
My team is just so weak right now.
First the flagpole, then the block.
I can maybe send out.
But in certain scenarios, it's possible to clip.
Yeah, I'll send out a Zoomeril for the Golbat or the Crobat, and I'll just probably sack it off. Honestly, I'm really just using it right now for HM purposes. So.
With no need to slide down and walk all the way to the castle block. Now, you can't just jump and grab the flagpole this slow. You need very specific conditions for this to work. The most famous example is in 8-2, where you can bounce off a bullet bill just low enough to grab the flagpole in the block. Here, it's commonly referred to as the bullet bill glitch. But as it turns out, it also works with swimming physics. By doing a frame-perfect A-press on the way to the pole, you'll clip into the block and perform the full flagpole glitch. And the full flagpole glitch saves 8 frame rolls. This was too good to pass up.
Nice, it looks like I didn't even have to sack off a Zoomeril.
And on October 21st, he had a run to -1 that nailed it. But then... This is the one problem with the full flagpole glitch. You have to land immediately next to the flagpole and swim, or else the timer ticks over to a 3 and you get 3 fireworks to waste a second. Saradoc landed just a tiny bit too far left and it cost him a second, but it still netted him time overall, and when combined with the fire flower skip, he achieved a huge new world record of 237. A few days later, Saradoc came back and played the same run, but
I think we'll
skipped the fire
be able to
flower
just leave, but I just want to make sure.
Final time was
We're all good.
235.99. Then the category settled down for several months.
In case we
as
could, like,
most
run to a
players
straight
focused
trainer
on
or something,
bigger
I guess, I don't know.
categories, Any% and Warpless. But in 2015, Saradoc came back to minus world ending. He managed to squeeze out one more frame roll in 1-2 and did a clip in -3 to get to the ceiling faster. These tricks saved about 0.7 seconds combined, and his final time was 235.27.
Why is
came around,
Breloom not gotten a single level yet? What the world?
Years. Saradoc was still the record holder, and there was no obvious time save remaining. Yet, while that category had been stagnant, the rest of the game had been undergoing a transformation. A player
yeah, we
came
went to
along and began
Supplies.
laying waste to Super Mario Bros. Records, achieving times in all categories that were previously thought impossible. This player's name was Darbian.
Who?
Young boys on Twitch.
That April, he set a legendary world record in any percent. A few months later, he got the Warpless record too.
Yes!
Eventually, he set records in the All-Stars version as well.
Done.
In 2016,
Thought you might have had flash.
Darbian was the
Alright, well, we're just gonna
premier
YOLO
of
then.
Super Mario
Just-
Bros. By that
Oh.
November, he
Oh,
had
that's Duke's Claws, already got a
45
Zubat.
main category records. The only one he was missing was the minus world ending, still held by Saradoc. Darbian didn't particularly care about this record, but he was also so close to a leaderboard sweep. If he could beat the minus world record, then he would hold all 5 world records.
We have any percent. We did it. Congrats. Warpless. We did it. Congrats. Any percent All-Stars. We did it. Congrats. Warpless All-Stars. We did it. Congrats.
So, Darbian began practicing. Only problem was there wasn't much time to save over Saradoc's record. He hadn't left anything on the table, and there were no obvious mistakes. But Darbian eventually identified one spot where he could save time, on the axe grab at the end of -3. Saradoc grabbed it 1 frame too far forward, meaning timing stopped a frame later than necessary. If Darbian landed on the first frame of the axe, he could beat the world record by 1 frame. It wasn't much, but it would be enough to get the leaderboard sweep.
You know what? Have I gotten an encounter here? I don't think so. I only encountered the Crobat. There we go, Mawile. I can catch Mawile.
Then in -1, he got the full flagpole glitch.
Got it.
After finishing -2, Darbian was tied with the record. Just 1 more level to go. If he could get the
My
wall
nest
flip
ball.
and then get a better axe grab, he might be able to get the
There you
record here.
We tied it. Unless we got a better axe grab.
Darbian went to frame count the run. He looked at the axe grab.
Dude, the Elite 4
and it
level
turned
cap
out
is going to be
he did
level
indeed save
55,
that
so I don't have to worry
record.
about over leveling.
New world record.
So I can just get my whole team to level 43 for the
235.26.
gym.
Darbian was the undisputed champ of Super Mario Bros. He officially had the 5 out of 5 leaderboard sweep.
Now, I can't use Groudon for the gym, but that's fine. I wouldn't have used Groudon anyway, because
Absolute limit.
it's a ground type. Stupid idiot. Alright, seriously though, I do need to put together my team for the gym.
And save the frame on the axe. Where do we even go from here? Well,
Okay, so I definitely...
that question
I don't want to use you, probably.
longtime runner Andrew G
And I don't want to use
was
you
looking
just
at
because you're flying type is safe.
Andrew G is a Mario legend. He's best known for holding the game's most prestigious record, any percent.
I could maybe use
for 7
Tropius.
years straight. By 2017,
check out Tropius's.
though, he'd been out of it for a while, having passed the torch to Saradoc and Darbian. but the game still piqued his interest.
Tropius gets Body Slam and Solar Beam. It also gets Magical Leaf. That might be worth it. I don't know. Kind of risque. But,
perhaps these 5 levels
you know,
weren't actually
whatever.
Specifically, level
honestly, my last mon could just be a sack off mon, probably.
And its only
Like,
purpose was to make the minus
Binda or
world
Dust
live
Talks or something.
If only you could go to the minus world as small Mario. You could skip the mushroom altogether and save over a second.
Yeah, I'll just have it be a sack off mon. I'll sack off Dust Talks.
Actually was one way to do this.
So I'm not gonna grind it.
This is the 1-2 pipe clip.
Alright, as long as it's remembered the level cap is level 43.
This was first used in a 2004 task by MYAAA. It skips the mushroom and is the fastest way to get to the minus world. And the problem is it wasn't humanly possible. When you're running at a wall, it's possible to be barely outside it on one frame and barely inside it on the next. The game responds by ejecting you out in the opposite direction that you're moving. But if you switch to left on the D-pad once entering
Is this the best place to grind? I really don't know. Probably not.
Eject you out to the right, effectively sucking you further into the wall. That's the basis of how the pipe clip works. You have to slow to
Alright, let's see how
you
you handle this.
press jump for
Omega
just one
Dream.
frame so you don't
I could
go
probably
to the
headbutt.
right, then tap left at the correct
Headbutt,
point to flip inside and eventually resume.
You have to Mega Drain. It's a 3-shot. That's not exactly what I was hoping for.
Barely bothered looking at it. That is, until HAPPIES posted a human theory speed
You're not even a 1-shot with Headbutt. Oof.
doing the clip from a save state.
Okay, you're not ready to be
What inputs needed to be done,
put out in
while
the
it
front
was
lines yet.
difficult, it was enough to make Andrew G think that maybe it was possible. And it certainly would be
okay.
worth trying. The 1-2 pipe clip saves an entire 8 frame rolls, although you give some of that back in -3 by not being able to do the ceiling clip.
Might not be
If
the best
Andrew
place to
could hit
grind.
this in a run, he could blow the door off the record, but actually hitting it was much easier said than done. After
I think
1
Tropius can learn
tries,
fly, right?
Andrew finally managed to pull it off, entering the pipe to the minus world. He was now nearly 3
Yeah, I'll go and
seconds
teach you
ahead
fly.
of the record. With a lead this big, Andrew could afford to play the rest of the run super
Got a better
safe.
place to grind, I
So
guess.
in -1, he set up the full flagpole very carefully.
I really
by
don't know.
walking up to the pole. It cost a second, but he was still ahead overall. And in -3,
Average.
he lost another second by having to navigate the maze normally.
Oh, Fall Arbor Town's a
Still
good
left
place to
him with
grind.
a small lead.
Right, Fall Arbor Town.
I don't know.
When does Magnemite evolve?
Yes, Andrew, a world record, 234.80.
Level
This is
30,
exactly
okay.
what Andrew was looking for. He built a big lead with the pipe clip, then bled just enough time to still beat.
Gonna give you the
There was a
experience,
decent amount
sure.
of time save possible in -1 and -3, but just getting the 1-2 pipe clip in a run was hard enough. And Andrew decided he was done for now. He moved on, and the minus world record stayed put at 234. A few months passed with nobody trying to challenge Andrew's record. The main reason was the pipe clip. Even though it was only a minute into the run, it was still out of reach for most players. Few could do what Andrew G could do. But if someone else could pull it off, then improving the rest of the run wouldn't be too hard. It all came down to one question. Who else could get the pipe clip? Well, in August 2017, 4 months after Andrew G's 234, a couple new contenders emerged. They weren't record holders like Andrew, but they were very good players in their own right. And most importantly, after much practice, they were able to build a little bit of consistency with the pipe clip. Their names were Merrick and Solo Q. Merrick was a runner who specialized in side categories, like Beat Stage 5-4 and All Coin Heavens. Solo Q was a top 10 any percent runner, with a respectable personal best of 457. Neither one had Andrew's speedrunning resume, yet they both felt like they could take his minus world ending record. Their plan was to match Andrew's run, but with the faster full flagpole glitch. If either of them could pull this off, they would get the first ever 233 in minus world ending history. By mid-August, Solo Q had moved into second and Merrick was in third. Both were making progress. The world record was within reach. On August 20th, muryC had a run that lost a frame rule in 1-1, then had a slow 1-2 clip to lose another frame rule. Still, when he got the fast full flagpole glitch, he gained 3 frame rules. He was now ahead of Andrew. This was a guaranteed world record as long as he didn't do anything dumb in -3. New world record. Andrew G had been dethroned. The final 3 levels of the run.
Oh, not Andrew G.
The only time save potential was in World 1. Weeks later, Solo Q aimed to pick.
All right,
up
let's see if Magnemite can handle it on his own.
Rule, then a fast clip in 1-2.
Okay.
Now, if he could
Obviously
hit
not
the
a great
full
sign, but
flagpole glitch, he'd be on
oh,
233.
looks like he
pace.
can.
Dude, is this actually it?
Can't take on Sandshrew, but
Oh my god.
-2 went well, and although he lost a few frames in -3, Solo Q still closed out the run strongly.
dude, of course I'm cantering like a million more Sandshrew because I'm using Magnemite.
This run combined the World 1 from Andrew's run with every frame rule in the minus world. It was, from Solo Q's perspective, essentially perfect. The only mistake he made was a few frames lost in the turnaround of -3. A while later, muryC tried to save that time. He managed to match Solo Q's pace, but then lost the exact same amount of time in -3. He tied him. The world record was now 233.73, held by both muryC and Solo Q. Mission accomplished for both players. As so often occurs in speedrunning, this peak of minus world ending competition was followed by a valley of inactivity. Over on the other categories, the any % world record had just changed hands again, going from Darbian to longtime record contender Cosmic.
Yes! Yes!
This wasn't Cosmic's first record. He'd held both the any % and warpless records on multiple occasions. And now, after getting yet another world record, a third category started to pique his interest.
This is perfect timing, by the way, because today in the mail I got my Famicom disc version of this game. It has the different minus world, so I'll be doing minus world ending world record attempts.
This was gonna be good. No disrespect to muryC or Solo Q, both great speedrunners, but Cosmic was a different beast. Time and time again, he'd beaten everyone else and risen to the very top of some quite competitive leaderboards. He was probably the absolute best Super Mario Bros. Player on the planet. Now, he was about to see what he could do to minus world ending. And even though there's only 5 levels, Cosmic had a few tricks up his sleeve. The first trick was in 1-2. To get to the minus world, instead of using the pipe clip, Cosmic planned to do a wall clip. This looks like it shouldn't be possible. It all has to do with Mario's subpixel value. Mario visually moves in pixels, but his positioning updates more often than that. Depending on Mario's subpixel value, his exact position slightly changes, and it alters how much he can clip into walls. Tiny things change his subpixels. When you press B, when you press left and right, and how long.
Oh, nice
Practically
magic leaps, isn't it?
anything when you're not at full speed. So, runners need to find subpixel setups to make wall clips possible. And the setup for the 1-2 wall clip was found by someone named John Smith. Just kidding. It was found by XX.
Leech is so good.
XX. Blazit's setup was
They have like Suns.
you push B on the correct frame when starting the
Without
This
Sunspore, Leech
sets
isn't
up
as
the
good.
subpixels to make the wall clip possible. The wall clip is easier overall than
I'll get
the
Sunspore.
so Cosmic could get more runs to the minus world. Another trick he planned to go for, the flagpole glitch. This is a trick commonly used in top any % runs, but hadn't yet been brought to minus world ending. By doing a precise setup discovered by Sockfolder, you can clip into the base of the flagpole and grab the pole lower than normal. This triggers a condition in the game where the flag doesn't come down. You save 1 frame rule by skipping that animation. The flagpole glitch can be used in 1-1 and -2. It's similar to -1's full flagpole glitch, but is harder and doesn't save as much time. Speaking of the full flagpole glitch, Cosmic had a small improvement there too. He switched to holding down and right while approaching the flagpole. This made him slow down less when touching the ground, giving him a bigger window to land and still avoid fireworks. That's 3 new tricks Cosmic could use: down plus right on the -1 flagpole, the 1-2 wall clip, and the flagpole glitch in 1-1 and -2. This all had major implications on the run. Here's a visual history of the world ending record up to now. You can see how runners chipped away over time until plateauing in the 233 range. But now, these new strats kinda changed everything. Thanks to flagpole glitch and a potential 1-2 time save, the human limit was a mid 232. There was a long road ahead to actually get there, but Cosmic could get it started right now. He got to work trying to implement as much as he could.
No way that just happened. I jumped, holy cow. Good enough. Good enough. Good enough.
It took him just 3 days. The record was now a half second lower. The game didn't even know what hit it. Cosmic was way ahead on the leaderboards. Merrick saw what Cosmic had done. He was still interested in competing for the record, but the problem was the flagpole glitch. It's an extremely hard trick, with multiple frame-perfect inputs and more. Cosmic had years of experience going for it in any percent runs, so it wasn't too hard for him to implement in world ending. But Merrick struggled with it. Although he could match Cosmic everywhere else, the flagpole glitch was different. He practiced the trick, yet couldn't build consistency with it. But there was another way Merrick could save time. If he went for the pipe clip and did it really fast, it could save a frame roll over the wall clip. That eliminated the need for the flagpole glitch. This was Merrick's path to beating Cosmic, despite playing from behind and not being a record holder. He'd need all of his capable frame rolls and a great -3. In March, Merrick started whittling down his personal best, slowly closing in on the record. And on the 28th, he found himself in -3, tied with the record. It would all come down to the turnaround. That was just about perfect. It saved 4 frames and was a
Alright, I can grind in Lily Cove now at least a little bit.
Quite impressed. He'd flat out been beaten, but Cosmic.
Also, hold on, I kind of want to see how Magneton's gonna do in this area.
He could even afford to lose the 1-2 frame roll. That August, that's the type of run Cosmic went for.
Yeah, actually, yeah, I don't think Magneton's actually gonna do too bad in this area.
Then he got a very low 233 before finally getting the world's first 232.
I just can't fight the Oddish Gloom, but that's not a big deal.
Perfect speedrun.
Yeah, pretty soon I'll actually be able to one-shot. A couple levels I'll be able to one-shot the Dust Goal consistently.
A full flagpole glitch and a fast -3. It was now really hard for anyone else to compete with this. Only someone with a main category world record could pull off a 232 in world ending. Cosmic was just flat out the best Super Mario Bros. Player, and as long as that stayed true, the world ending record was all his.
Oh my gosh, is it record? That might be record too.
This is Sumwes, and on October 22nd, 2018, he took Cosmic's any percent record. Sumwes was a gamer. He'd been battling for this record for months now, finally pulling ahead and cementing the top spot on the leaderboard. He had all the skills Cosmic had, and now...
Yeah, I want to focus on grinding Magneton until he's like level like 36, and then we can start using SunKERN like a Pokemon.
Now, here's the thing. The only difference between the record and the human limit was one more frame roll in 1-2. Cosmic played the pipe clip safe by slowing to walking speed early. If SumWest went faster, he'd save 0.35 seconds. And that was it. The record got all other frame rules and
Actually, you know what? It might be.
-3.
Well,
it was really
well,
good.
actually, no. I can. I mean, I could do somewhere else. Actually,
There
hold
was
on.
only
I have an idea.
one improvement to make. His perfect run would be a 232.48. Wes started playing for the record, and quickly
Be better,
he
actually.
got himself a 233.5 with time losses in 1-1, 1-2, and -3. Still,
So what if I fight
that
lower
result
leveled mons? I
was
get more
what they
EVs
wanted.
that way.
He kept going, and minutes later, he got on another run.
And I get it. I don't know how.
Here we are, -3.
Wow, that didn't even one shot. That's crazy.
If Wes could play a good -3, then this was gonna be it.
Is this it? Is this gonna be it? With the cat troll?
It was over. SumWest had just gotten a 232.48. All frame rules were matched, and -3 was perfect. The congratulations poured in as SumWest celebrated with his cat. The human limit was officially reached, and this was the end of the minus world ending.
Alright, it's good
world
enough.
record.
Alright.
At least as it was currently understood. While the boundaries of the human limit seem to be set in stone,
I do want
maybe they
to
can
want
be adjusted.
you to get
If
to
a
level
human viable
38.
time save is found,
Great for
then
me.
the human limit would be lowered. We just have to find a new way to save time. But as we know, there's only 5 levels to search through. Is it actually possible to go faster in any of them? Well, let's see what players currently did. In 1-1, players ran through without stopping.
There you go.
Then did a flagpole glitch. No possible time save there. In 1-2, players mostly ran through without stopping. They technically slowed down a tiny bit for the pipe clip.
Alright, we're gonna give the
not
experience share
much.
to,
There's no quicker way to get through the wall to the
I
minus
guess.
In -1, players
So you're
sped
level
through
40.
without
What's
stopping,
level cap
then
43?
did a full flagpole glitch. No way to improve over that. In -2, players ran through without stopping, then did a flagpole glitch. Obviously, no improvements possible. That left just one level, -3. This level does have the turnaround.
The only problem
At
with
the
Breloom
back,
here is
so
you can't
skipping
really
that would save time. The problem,
hit the
of
dust
course,
go
is
without
taking the
Mega
other
Drain,
paths
but
leads you to a wall. If only you could just go through the wall. You know, something like this. Well, hey, there's an idea. This is similar to the wall clip method in 1-2. You can partially land just inside the wall, then repeatedly jump to fully enter it. Now, for years, this trick was known but seemed out of the question. Players jumped at the wall but never made it inside. But in 2018, it was 420 Blaze It to the rescue. He found a subpixel setup. By buffering jump to start the level, then pressing B while Mario falls off the last step, you'll be able to clip inside the wall. It wasn't easy, but this setup made it a viable trick. It saved about half a second. The human limit had just been lowered again. If a player could get all the flagpole glitches, the pipe clip, all the frame rules possible, and then hit the -3 wall clip, they could just barely get a 231. That's what SumWest decided to go for. The first step was making it back to -3 tied with the record, which wasn't easy. He poured hundreds of attempts in, trying to make every trick line up.
oh,
Finally,
before I forget, I want to
minutes
get
later, at
Thunder
5
on
minutes, as he entered -3,
on
if he
Magneton.
could now hit the wall clip, the 231 would be his.
Just in case.
His game crashed. -3 is pure evil. But he couldn't stop now. He'd come so close. SumWest kept trying, and his attempt counter really started to pile up. A couple weeks later, he did finally get the wall clip on a run that lost frame rule in 1-1 for a small record. But a few hundred attempts later, SunWest had another golden chance. He picked up the 1-1 frame rule, then maintained his pace over the next 3 levels. Another chance at the 231, if he could hit the wall.
I never healed. I thought I did.
Yes, dude. 231.
Oh, yeah. That's why I needed to heal, though.
SunWest had done it again. As soon as there was a chance to match the human limit, he was all over it. A run with all frame rules and the wall clip. Now, there is a tiny gap between this run and the human limit, and that's because -3 doesn't operate on the frame rule system. Every frame counts in this level, and while SunWest got a fast wall clip, it was technically possible to save a few more frames here. Depending on how you jump and the way you mash, it's possible for the wall to suck you in a bit smoother. So technically Wes's run was marginally improvable. The run was roughly perfect, not literally perfect. Over the next several months, while there was a lot of minus world ending activity, nobody could compete with SunWest. By early 2019, 3 runners had tied Cosmic's second place run: GT Ace, Royalty, and the former record holder Merrick. The main difference with these 4 runs is that they didn't go for the -3 wall clip, except for Merrick, who, as we know, didn't do flagpole glitches. Unless these guys were willing to implement a hard trick at the very end of the run, they wouldn't be able to catch SunWest. Who would have the guts to go for it? Then all of a sudden in January, the competition picked up again, and someone decided they wanted to shave off those last few frames.
Here we go.
This made sense. Cosmic had competed with West before, maybe he could do it again. And over the past couple years, he'd gotten even better at flagpole glitches. This time, he'd have to go for the perfect pipe clip and then an even faster wall clip in -3. It was tough, but doable for a player of his caliber. Alright, Cosmic, let's see what you can do.
Why? I don't know the problem. Okay, I get it. It's nice when you get a second shot at life. No. It was so close. It was so close. He just didn't get running speed.
This would have been it, but he couldn't build running speed before jumping out of the wall. It ended up costing him the record. Shortly after this, 420 Blaze It came back and made yet another huge discovery. It was a faster subpixel setup for the wall clip. You do a full jump off the last 2 frames of the block, then let go of B in the air and repress it the frame after landing. It was harder than the old setup, but saved an entire 8 frames. This pushed the human limit to the 231.8 range, and raised the stakes for competition. Then, another of the tied runners decided to try making a move: GT Ace. GT Ace had never held the any percent record, but he still had a pretty incredible track record, being the former Warpless world record holder. After setting a personal best in 3 frames off SunWest's record, he managed to hit the faster subpixel setup in a run. Now, if he could get a good clip, this would be a new record. It wasn't a great clip, but thanks to the 8 frames saved on the setup, he wound up beating SunWest by 1 frame, just a tiny bit closer to the human limit. It was around this time that yet another runner started going for the minus world ending record. He was an up-and-comer with a lot of talent. If he could get this, it would be his first ever Super Mario Bros. World record. This runner's name was Niftsky.
Like the normal minus
Who?
world.
Kidding.
It
Just like one of the best, if not the best Mario
Niftsky
player of all
thought
time.
that with Blaze-It's faster setup and a good clip, a time around 231.8 was realistic, but he'd have to beat out
But
players
it was it
with
realistically
to
realistic?
do it,
The real
both
question.
tried and true record holders. Still, Niftsky's flagpole glitch and pipe clip consistency was pretty good. He just had to make it to -3 with a chance, and on February 11th, he'd get his shot.
Yes! Please, dude. Please. Wait. Dude, that was it! But I hit the timer! That was it! That had to be it! That had to be it! Oh my god!
Oh, so didn't
This
count.
was an amazing wall clip. When combined with the faster setup, it was a big cut off the record. Although he stopped his timer early, the run was quickly retimed as a 231.80, once again roughly matching the human limit. And Nifsky didn't stop there. Later, Blazeit found yet another faster subpixel setup that shaved 4 frames off the human limit. Guess what Nifsky did next?
What did he do next? Just had to guess, you idiot. You buffoon.
Oh my god, was that it? There's no way.
Other runners tried to compete with Nifsky. Cosmic, GTAce, and Scrimzian all had runs that got the wall clip on pace. But time and time again, they were just a bit too slow. And instead, it was Nifsky finding faster setups and getting the wall clips.
Oh my god! Yes! Yes! Oh my god!
By late 2020, Nifsky had taken the time down to 231.65, and this time, the human limit was actually solidified. It had been slightly lowered recently because of faster setups, but now, Nifsky was doing a fast acceleration to start the level and a fast wall clip. You couldn't go any quicker. Combine that with all frame rules being matched up to -3, and Nifsky had taken the run to its actual human limit, 231.65. So, maybe we have to go past the human limit. This is the TAS of Minus World Ending, 230.10. It represents a theoretical perfect speedrun. A TAS is created by using save states, slowdown, even frame by frame, letting you do the exact moves you want through the whole game. A TAS lets you do tricks that are too hard for humans to perform in real time. The difference between Nifsky's record and the TAS is just over 1.5 seconds. Where on earth can you save that much time? Well, it's all from 2 levels, -2 and -3. The TAS saves a few frames in -3 from a perfect clip and fast accelerations, and in -2, it saves an entire 4 frame rules. How? Well, by doing this. This is the -2 full flagpole glitch. It is the hardest trick in the TAS by an enormous margin, discovered by TASer HAPPIES in 2009. The end result is similar to the -1 full flagpole glitch, but setting it up is a different story. It was hard enough that real-time runners didn't even bother looking at it for years, but the 4 frame rules of time save eventually became too tantalizing. In 2019, former record holder Merrick did some research to find a setup, and this nightmare chain of inputs is what he found. You have to jump on this specific frame for exactly 6 frames, let go of B in the air, and then repress it on this exact frame after landing. Then, after holding right, you must switch to holding left on the very next frame, a nearly impossible task on an original D-pad. Then you let go of left and switch back to right 2 frames later, and finally switch back to left once more to enter the wall. You run to the flagpole, and on the correct frame, you press jump for exactly 1 frame. If all this is done correctly, you'll clip into the base of the flagpole.
Bro, what the frick? I thought I'd at least be able to consistently two-shot all the dust skull.
For months. Eventually, he was able to get the clip in real time from a save state, but it was way too inconsistent to be considered for runs. Besides, at that point in 2019, the world record wasn't as optimized. So, runners shelved the trick until they really needed it. Well, a couple years later, that time had come. Nifsky had run out of time saves, and had to start looking at the -2 clip. Luckily, in the past year, there had been some developments. Kriller37 found a slightly better setup, It avoided the awkward 6-frame jump and made the clip a little easier, but added in a frame-perfect down plus right press. And Niftsky himself found a visual cue to help with the setup. It was still an insanely hard trick, but not quite as insane as it was a year ago. Just enough to give him hope that maybe he could hit it in a run eventually and get a shot at -3. After extensive practice, Niftsky decided that it was time. He was gonna go for -2 FFPG in attempts, and he had a game plan for how to do so. Since the trick was so hard but saved so much time, he was gonna take other tricks out of the run, at least for now. Later, once he got a world record with -2 FFPG, he'd slowly add the other tricks back into the run. So, for now, he decided to skip both the 1-1 flagpole glitch and the -3 clip. That let him maximize his tries at the -2 FFPG. Over the following weeks, Niftsky did hundreds of attempts. Many made it to -2, but none got the FFPG. If he could land it once, he'd be home free in -3. But even that was too much to ask. The trick was just too hard. Until one day, in January 2021.
Finally! Holy cow! Come on, finish this! Don't choke. This is the only part we don't have to choke, and this is record. Yes! Grab the axe. Let's go! 231.4! Yes!
At long last, Niftsky had hit the -2 FFPG. The record was taken to a place once considered completely out of the question. This is what speedrunners do. They make the impossible possible, and the term human limit becomes meaningless. Now, Niftsky had a new task in front of him. Add back in the other tricks, and make the world record literally perfect. And with artificial limitations out of the way, there was nothing stopping him.
Yes! Yes! Let's go! Is that it? Yes! 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 Yes!
Years of playing, thousands of attempts building his skills, and Niftsky has brought the record just 7 frames from perfection. Over that time, Niftsky became by far the best Super Mario Bros. Player in the world. He now holds all main category records, some of them by relatively huge margins. But even he's not sure if the final 7 frames in Minus World Ending will ever be saved. 2 of those frames come from faster methods of acceleration. The other 5 come from the clip itself. You need a precise angle to save a jump in the wall, frame perfect mashing, and a perfect right repress out of the clip. A perfect stage -3 has never been done before, let alone at the end of a perfect paced run. But who knows, maybe one day the limits will change again. All these runners, all their efforts, have all built up to this. The story of how speedrunners completely mastered a category, and their chase for a never-ending human limit. Thanks for watching.
You're welcome.
For a behind-the-scenes look August 4th, 2012. Streaming live on a young website called Twitch.tv, a player is trying to beat perhaps the most famous world record in all of video gaming, the Super Mario 64 120 star world record. It's a competition of how quickly you can collect every star in the most popular 3D platformer of all time. It's part of a relatively new hobby called speedrunning. 120 star is a prestigious enough record that it's rarely broken at this point. But on this day, one man is determined to do it. His name is Siglemic. Siglemic has been going at this for a while. Even today, he's already been streaming for several hours. He makes dozens of attempts at the record, each one dying to mistakes or just being too slow. But eventually, he's able to get a fast start. Siglemic collects star after star, displaying incredible movement and other techniques. Thousands of livestream viewers watch in awe as he makes it past 30 stars, then 50, then 70.
Dude, feels like every freaking time now. Like seriously, bruh?
The impressive gameplay continues. Excitement is building. He's doing things that most viewers can't even fathom. And then, minutes away from a new world record, he arrives at one of the last stars, the Rainbow Ride 100 coin star. This one is super easy. All you have to do is stand still on a magic carpet and collect a few coins. Siglemic does that, and the 117th star appears. All he has to do now is jump up and collect it. This is the worst way to lose a record. An hour and 41 minutes of beautiful gameplay, and it had all been for nothing. Siglemic could do some things in Mario 64 that nobody else could. Yet, right here, he could have handed the controller off to anyone, and they would have collected the star. After finishing the run, Siglemic talked to his stream about what happened.
Like, I couldn't even believe it. Like, I paused and I was just like looking at it. I just like felt nothing. I don't even know like how long it would take me to get a run like this. Again, it'll probably take a while. I can't believe I threw that kind of run away.
In this moment, Siglemic felt tiny. His best ever chance at the record thrown in the garbage. Sometimes, attempts at greatness end in tragedy. It's a necessary evil, because if there's never any tragedy, then greatness would feel insignificant.
Oh my god, dude! I'm a legend! Oh my god.
Oh my god, dude! No way!
And now, a word from this video's sponsor, Factor. Factor lets you pick from a variety of meals and have them delivered to your door. Just pop it in the microwave and eat it. Factor is a great product if you have a type of diet in mind. If you're on a keto diet, they have higher fat options that are low carb. If you're on a low calorie diet, they have lower calorie options. Different diets are recommended for different lifestyles, so you should be mindful of how much of each macro you eat in each meal. Luckily, Factor is transparent about the nutritional value of each meal on their website and on the back of each package. Check the daily recommended values to make a plan that's right for you. Factor also has a variety of smoothies, protein shakes, and other drinks you can order. Once again, you can tailor these to the type of diet you wish to follow. High protein options, higher fat keto options, or fruit smoothie options. Just check the nutrition facts right on their website. To try Factor, head to factor75.com or click the link below and use code 50summoningsalt to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first Factor box. That's code 50summoningsalt at factor75.com to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. Thanks to Factor for sponsoring this video. Let's start with an overview of the speedrun. Super Mario 64 has a total of 120 stars for you to collect. You only need to collect 70 of them to beat the game, but a full 100% completion involves collecting all 120 stars. How do you collect them? Well, the game has 15 levels, and each level contains 7 stars. That accounts for 105 stars, and the remaining 15 come from various locations, scattered throughout the castle, substages like Peach's Slide, and the Bowser levels. Most of the game's stars involve defeating bosses or completing objectives. Each level also has a star you earn from collecting 100 coins, known as the 100 coin star. Once you collect enough stars, you can fight Bowser to earn keys. These keys unlock new sections of the castle. There are 3 main areas. You start in the lobby with its 4 levels, then unlock the basement and its 5 levels, and later unlock upstairs and its 6 levels. Importantly, within each section of the castle, there's a lot of flexibility in the order you can play the levels. While 120 star is at the forefront of speedrunning today, it certainly didn't start that way. Let's go back to the very beginning. The first sign of 120 star speedrun activity comes from the year 2004 on the speedrunning hub Speed Demos Archive. Keep in mind, Super Mario 64 was just 8 years old at this point. Various people created forum threads asking what a 120 star speedrun would look like, hoping somebody would be willing to try it.
Bruh.
2 speedrunners took up the task, Spider-Man 88mil and Jason. Their runs were unrecorded, but they posted updates in forum threads, trading the record back and forth throughout 2004. Finally, in December, Spider-Man 88mil got a record he was happy with. 2 hours, 58 minutes, and 49 seconds. He recorded it on VHS, and across the next 21 years, that footage survived. Let's take a look at the earliest recorded 120 star speedrun. The first thing to notice is the movement. Spider-Man 88mil did a lot of long jumps, performed by pressing Z and then jumping. This is one of the fastest ways of moving through the game, faster than just running. Then there's the routing. The order of collecting all 120 stars is important. You don't want to waste time backtracking, for instance. There's a couple basic rules he followed. He always collected all 7 of a level's stars before heading to the next level, and he generally completed all levels in an area before moving on. These rules helped ensure he made it through as fast as possible. Now, as for the gameplay itself, parts of it were pretty impressive for such an early run. For instance, to save time on the Lil Penguin Lost Star, he jumped over the edge and landed right where he needed to be, rather than sliding down the slopes. In Whomp's Fortress, instead of using the cannon, he cleverly used a side flip to reach the chute into the Wild Blue Star. Little strategies like these were used throughout the 3-hour run, saving him small amounts of time over a casual playthrough. But certain sections made it quite clear that this was an early speedrun. He died 4 times and played very slowly in other parts, not at all like a modern run. Perhaps the most infamous moment came in Shifting Sandland, when he just couldn't quite reach the star in the pyramid. It's silly to think of such moments being in a world record today, but in 2004, things were bound to happen across a 3-hour speedrun. Spider-Man 88mil received lots of praise for his record. Most had never seen a run of the game like this before, and although they could see its imperfections, they were impressed to see such a high level of gameplay mostly sustained across 3 hours. Interestingly, Jason realized after watching the run that he'd sort of already beaten it. He'd played on the PAL version of the game, which runs at 5/6 the speed of the NTSC version that Spider-Man 88mil played on. So, Jason's 316 would have been timed as a 244 on NTSC, but since it was both unrecorded and played on PAL, it didn't count, and Spider-Man 88mil had the official world record. After 2004, we enter a strange period of 120 stars history. Much of this era has been lost to time, but here's what we do know. Throughout 2005 and 2006, a number of new 120 star speedruns were submitted to Speed Demos Archive, and every single one was rejected by the site admins. Why? Well, speedrun verification on Speed Demos Archive worked differently back then. They only wanted high quality speedruns on their website, both in video quality and quality of gameplay. So even if someone submitted a run that was fast enough for a new record, admins could reject it if they felt you could do better. And that happened repeatedly with 120 star. Multiple runs were submitted to SDA that beat Spider-Man 88mil, but since the site admins already had a 120-star run, and they weren't overly impressed by the new runs, they rejected them. A baffling concept today, but it was the norm back then. It's unknown how many times this occurred, but we know it happened twice to a player known as Amoeba2. In May 2005, he submitted a 254, and in February 2006, he submitted a 247. Both were rejected from SDA. There are also rumors that a player named Ikanaki got a time of 242, but without video proof. Fortunately, this period in history wouldn't last long, because then in 2006, a new player appeared on the forums, intrigued about the possibility of completing a 120-star run. His name was Dragorn. Dragorn had a different approach. He didn't want to just beat the run on the site, a 258.49. He wanted to demolish it, leaving no chance for his run to be rejected. His goal was to take more than 40 minutes off the record and get a sub 215. Dragorn himself wasn't sure if this was possible, but he got community members excited. Many of them tried to help out, even if their computers limited them. Members from all over the site, who played all different games, eagerly awaited Dragorn's run. Even Spider-Man88mil joined the thread, saying that he felt sub 230 was possible, but not sub 215. Over the next few months, Dragorn posted his progress learning the speedrun. He borrowed many strategies from the existing 70-star record and looked at coin routes from Curtis Bright's Mario 64 website. Finally, after months of practice, Dragorn posted that he'd completed a run. 2 hours, 19 minutes, and 47 seconds. The community was amazed that he'd taken half an hour off the record like it was nothing. But there was no video posted. It was hard to upload long videos in 2006, and Dragorn felt he could still lower the time a bit more. So, rather than mail in this VHS tape to SDA, he'd wait for the best run he could get. Dragorn kept improving, and his updates in the forum thread continued. A week later, he posted a 2:18.07. People started trash talking the 258 run currently on the site, knowing that Dragorn had crushed it. A few weeks later, another update. He was now in the 2:16 range. Finally, in early September, Dragorn posted his newest time, 2:14.32 with 0 deaths. This accomplished his sub 215 goal, but he was still unsatisfied. He'd been playing since January, and was at the very top of his skills now. Could he do even better if he kept going? Well, Dragorn continued his attempts, and a few days later, he posted one final update in the forums, 2:10.40, a time that even he thought was impossible. Dragorn submitted the run to SDA, and everyone got excited. Nowadays, you can watch a run as soon as it happens, but back then you had to wait for it to be published, and there was a huge sense of anticipation. It was finally accepted and posted on the site a couple weeks later. At long last, all these members who'd been tracking his progress over the past 9 months were able to watch Dragorn's masterpiece. We see improvements right from the opening seconds of the run. Dragorn goes for and hits a trick called Lakitu Skip. When you walk on the bridge to enter the castle, Lakitu stops you to explain how the camera works. But if you only touch the very edge of the bridge, you never hit the trigger for the cutscene, and are able to skip it. This only saves about 10 seconds, but the fact that Dragorn hits it is a sign of what's to come. In Bob-omb Battlefield, he gets a trick called Bomb Clip, albeit a different version than what's done in runs today. By taking the Bob-omb to the corner,
finally done grinding.
Then jumping as it explodes, you'll get pushed behind the gate and are free to collect the star, much faster than having to use the chomp. In general, there was much less playing it safe, and more tricks used to shave seconds off here and there. In Cool Mountain, he quickly dropped down to the wall kicks will work star instead of slowly floating down.
Alright, let's give the Miracle Seed to
Docks, instead of using the slow poles to collect red coins, he did a series of difficult jumps to platforms. This was a true speed run. There were strategies, there were tricks, there were things you would not see in a normal playthrough.
You can give the Silk Scarf to you, I guess, because
the entire run without dying. This was
Can give you the quick call, I guess.
Draghorn stepped away from Mario
And
64 for good after this.
Use the
Before he
likes and
left,
sense.
he posted a
Alright,
comment
let me pull up the
future of
team real quick.
Star speedruns. He felt that a 209 was right around the human limit.
Oh,
A sub
that
2
was-
hour speedrun was
that I had to
completely out of the
recently.
question.
Alright, he's gonna lead with
After
a
Draghorn,
with
the
a
SDA
love
community lost
disc.
interest in 120 star, as well as
Okay.
most other Mario 64 categories. Throughout the
So
rest
then
of
we probably want to lead
2006,
with
2007,
I don't know.
and 2008,
Love disc is level
Draghorn's
what?
records did
40?
not show.
How fast is
Then,
love disc?
in 2009, a new Super Mario 64
97 speed. So
but
I
this
probably
time,
can't
it
lead with
was
Magneton.
Prior to now, 120 star hadn't seen competition.
Probably
for
not.
this part of the world.
Yeah,
But
I
in
don't know.
2009,
Probably need a
group of
faster-ish
runners
mon.
from Japan started streaming speedruns.
What about Roselia?
A site that let you both live stream and upload videos. This new community.
Roselia's speed.
best speedrunners
65, that's worse.
They were aware of
What about
Draghorn's
Swampert?
120 star record on SDA and set that as their goal time to beat. Once they
Oh, and yeah, Swampert's not fast either. Wow, all
they
these Bowman are like particularly fast.
120 star record
What about
as close as
Tropius?
possible. How did they do it? Well, on SDA, all the runners
Wow,
had to
no.
go on
Okay, all my
was their
Pokemon are
own
slow.
records.
So,
But by 2009, this new community had a great advantage.
I don't really have a
They
great
had the SDA
any
videos,
great option.
plus their own
I
live
guess
streams, a
maybe I
thriving
could.
community filled with players, competitive
See, hold on.
single-star leaderboards, and more.
So it's got
Runners
Flail,
were able to
Attract,
better
Sweet
collaborate,
Kiss.
and
Okay,
it
it's
led to
female.
more
Rosalia
optimization
is male.
of the
Dang
game.
it, that really sucks.
However, there are a
that
couple
really
caveats about
sucks.
their runs. For one thing, Nico didn't save live stream
I
recordings
guess
over
we should
30
lead with
minutes long, so the
Machete, I
majority of
guess.
Records from this time period are lost. A few videos did survive. and
Hold on,
talk
who's
about
faster,
those in a
Breloom
minute,
or
but most
Magneton?
records only
Let me see.
exist as text on a
Breloom
website.
has 70 speed,
And then there's
Magneton.
another caveat.
Wait, actually, I don't have to check on the
All early runs of the
thing. I
game
could just
played on
see the stats
Nintendo
here.
64.
76, 77. Okay,
However,
you're
by
barely faster.
2009,
I'm not sure if
it
that's gonna make the
was
difference,
possible
but you
to
know,
play the
it
game
might.
on an emulator.
Who knows?
While Speed Demo's archive expressly prohibited the use of emulators, that wasn't a universal rule. And over in Japan, the Mario 64 speedrunning community was essentially starting from scratch. They decided to allow emulators for speedrun submissions. And as it turns out, there's
Okay, I
a
think I
key
have this
difference between
memorized.
emulator and console runs. An emulator has much faster load times and much less lag than a Nintendo 64. The time adds up quickly.
I think it's
Over the
this.
course of a 2-hour run, an emulator picks up about a full minute compared to an original console. That means emulator runners have a roughly 60-second advantage.
No, I did it wrong. Dang it, I thought I had it
Players in
memorized.
Japan couldn't agree if they should prioritize original hardware or the fastest version available. So there was high-level competition
No,
on
it's not
both.
that.
For the next year and a half, the majority of
I
world
thought
records
I
were
could have
set
swore it
by
was something like that.
Most
Hold on.
were set by one player, Honey. He repeatedly lowered his time down through 2:05 down to 2 hours flat before finally achieving a 1:59:20.
Most
On
likely be
Nintendo
that.
64,
Wait, actually, no. I
his
think it
time would be
actually
a
might be
full
this. Hold on.
minute slower. But remember, Draghorn's best run on console was a 2:10, so this 1:59 was in a class of its own. How was
Yeah, okay,
Honey
that's what
able
it was,
to save
okay.
so much time over Draghorn's run, which was itself considered excellent when it was achieved? Well, luckily, Honey's 1:59 is one of the few runs from this.
All right,
game that
it
was
is Wallace time.
So we're actually able to see it, and
Oh,
it is
here we
nothing
go.
short of incredible.
Am I Noivus? No, you're Noivus. And I got Dustox to sack off if I need to. Oh.
Once again, we'll start with the movement. Honey used more than just long.
Spark
jumps.
should just one-shot, honestly.
He
I'd be
used
shocked if it didn't.
dives and
Yeah.
rollouts to move a little bit faster. This may have saved a second or two per star, but across the whole run, this adds up to multiple minutes.
Next is Wishcash, which I
Beyond the
expected.
movement, Honey
Wishcash
also
does
used
not
some
have anything to
strategies
do
that
with
were
trophies,
riskier
though.
than Draghorn did, and showed off a higher level of game.
So let's go to Tropius.
For instance, in Bob on Battlefield, you're intended to open the cannon and launch up to the big island in the sky, which is what Draghorn did. Instead,
Go Magical
Honey
Leaf.
gained speed off
Boom.
the slope
Should one-shot?
and did a triple jump with the wing
Okay, good.
cap to fly and make it up top. Quite a bit more impressive looking. In Womp's Fortress,
Okay,
he
next
went for it in
is
Owless, a very
Celio,
precise trick
who
where he
has
triple jump and kick off the
Aurora
side of the
Beam.
cage, then land back inside to
But,
collect the star.
I'm just gonna
It
risky
only
for the
saves a
bisky.
few seconds over using the owl to drop in, but this is the level of execution that Honey could pull off.
Okay, I don't think that'll one
Another
shot.
example of strategy improvement
Okay.
is how he handled the level Hazy Mazy Casey Cave.
Okay.
HMC for short. This level
This is
has
MYAAA,
great
who I
improvements.
believe does have
There's
Ice
no
Beam.
ceiling, so if you can get high enough to clear the
What's
walls,
MYAAA's
then you
speed?
can quickly jump from room to room. For instance, by side
MYAAA
flipping
has
and kicking
81
the
speed.
wall in the room,
Probably will.
Honey was
No,
able to
definitely,
clear
almost
the
definitely
wall
will.
and make it to the swimming
Outspeed
basin
and one
with
and kill me here.
He did similar tricks all through HMC to save 2
Let's sack off.
minutes.
I think this is where we sack off Dust Dogs.
This type of gameplay continued
Who lived?
even
Wow.
upstairs during some of the game's hardest levels. Just about the only
Right.
major flaw was a death in the Wing Mario over the Rainbow.
For MYAAA, I might want to do
Despite that,
MYAAA does have recover. No, we want to. I think we want to do you and then just try to lower its the crap out of its accuracy.
Just better gameplay across the entire run. Over the next few months, the 120-star record underwent a period of rapid improvement. These new runners were all pushing each other, breaking new ground and seeing just how far their talent could take.
All right, now that I've
Remember,
obliterated
120-star
its
speed runs were still pretty novel, and as much skill as they took, there was room to optimize them more. Throughout 2010, there
its
were
accuracy.
several world records set on both emulator and console.
Okay, hold on. Who's the last Pokemon that hasn't been sent out yet? Seaking. Seaking can't do anything to Magneton, so let's go to Magneton.
Finally, 7 months after the last record with surviving video, we're able to see another one. 156.17 on console by a runner named Shigeru. When accounting for emulator time difference, this run was 4 minutes faster than the last
Bro! He hit through -6 accuracy and paralysis and got a crit! What? What are the odds of that? The odds have to be like 0. The odds, I'm fully convinced that the odds of MYAAA that happening was like less than 1%. I'm not even joking. What the frick?
He also saved time by going for front sub in Dire.
Literally, what is the odd of the odd? What are the odds of that? Like actually?
From the back, but it is faster, and Shigeru nailed it. He avoided dying on the Wing Mario over the Rainbow Star.
Dude,
just a little bit
-6 actually paralyzed, and you get a crit. What? Like you literally cannot make that up. Impossible. That should have been impossible. Dude, and you didn't even. What did you get out of it? You literally got nothing out of it. I should have just went out to. I should have just paralyzed it with Magneton and went out to Tropius, but. Dude, that sucks. There was a real chance I was gonna bring Magneton to the Elite Four, bruh.
The next several months were more of the same.
Whatever.
Set a new world record time
Well, that's a really freaking disappointing way to end a stream, but whatever.
Batora got a 150.
Let me deposit it before I forget. Yeah, dude, I was like almost certain that I was gonna bring it into the Elite Four, and well, just crap ton of grinding gone to waste. Whatever, we're gonna go ahead and save there. I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys very soon, relatively.